Okay, there's only one appearing. Okay, hopefully my data doesn't run out. I've connected via my cell phone, not the router.
Okay. Is your
Yeah.
Wi-Fi not working?
Yeah, I think there's load shedding. I stay in Kruger's though, and we don't normally have load shedding here. Oh, there it is. It's appearing now. Let me try and connect.
Oh,
Maybe there might be a bit of a
okay.
disconnection, but I'm gonna try and save my
Okay, no worries.
data. Okay. Hi Rob.
Tumi, there. Tumi, can you hear me?
I'm back. Yes. Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay, cool. Okay, cool. Awesome. Okay. All right. Okay, so let's get started with the assignment then. All right. So obviously this is HIMM432_1 integrated media management. Okay, and this won't be relevant to you because you haven't looked at mass media mass communication yet. So we're just going to discuss the assignment. All right. So this is really important. Okay, the assignment's broken up into two sections. There's an A and a B. Section A is 55 marks. Section B is 25 marks, which gives you 80 marks. And then the last 20 marks are for technical, which are really just marks for JAM. If you do what you need to do and you get your technical stuff right, you can easily get, 15 out of 20 for that, which is just extra marks, which could help you push you through, so that's good. Okay, so section A has got two questions. The first question is 15 mark, and then the 15 marks. The second question has two parts to it, which have 20 marks each. That gives you your 40 marks. And then section B is one question of 25 marks. Question A1 is about social responsibility. Question A2 is about a campaign and media management. And question B is about integration. Okay, so that's the structure. You're welcome to interrupt me if you need to ask any questions. Okay, or yeah. Okay, so question A1 is about the British royal family and their corporate social responsibility.
Hi Rob.
Authenticity.
No, rain is really disappointing me. I'm gonna have to switch back to my cell phone.
Okay.
Hi Rob.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm battling. You're cutting like question. So I'm gonna switch back to my cell phone.
Okay. All right. Okay. Okay. Cool.
Okay, I'm back.
Okay, cool. Can you hear me better now?
Much better.
Okay. Okay. So sorry about I hope your daughter's not going to get finished because it's a long set of lectures. Okay.
Ooh.
All right. So question A1 is about the British royal family and their corporate social responsibility and their brand authenticity. So that's social responsibility and regulation for 15 marks. Question A2 is about the ANC, putting together a media campaign for them, suggesting media and doing a PESTLE analysis. So that's media plan and PESTLE analysis for 40 marks. And then question B is about integrating old and new media, mass communication versus personalization or digital media, and that's for 25 marks. And then your technical is 20 marks. So that is the structure of the assignment.
Oh, question 8 seems like a lot of marks, 40 marks, and I've never heard of this PESTLE or yeah.
No worries. I'm going to go through. Okay, so PESTLE we did last week. I'll go through it with you a little bit. You'll get a feel for it in the thingy. So I'll go through it a bit with you today. you might want to go back and watch that video. And I've also referred you to a YouTube video. But to me, for the sake of the classes, what I said to the other students is, because we all have connectivity issues, I'm not going to go through the YouTube videos with you in class, because they just seem to slow us down, and they just seem to make everybody's connection go funny. So just, when you have time and data, they're short videos, anything between sort of 2 minutes and 10 minutes maximum. It's not like it's a 3-hour long thing, it's quite short.
Okay.
All right, so technical requirements. Your assignment must include the following, please. So you have to make use of, and this is a lot. Now, the other thing that I said to the students early on today is, you have to remember this is NQF 8. It's the equivalent of an honors degree. Okay, so if you only did a 3-year undergrad degree, NQF 5 to 7, you would then be doing an honors degree now, so you can go into masters. So you, because it's a 4-year degree, can go straight into a master's degree if you want to. I'm not saying you're going to, but if you wanted to. So there obviously is a certain standard that needs to be achieved, which is higher than what you were used to in 3rd year and 2nd year, and so on and so forth. Okay, so your assignment must please the following. You have to make use of at least 15 sources, excluding your textbooks. Now, Tumi, I just want to give you a point of correction here. I think your assignment, what is the word I'm looking for? A brief says 10 sources, but that's 10 academic sources. Okay, so when I say 15 sources, those are excluding the academic sources. Okay, so 10 of your sources must be academic, i.e. journal articles and or books. So I don't know if you have access to the library at Boston, if they have a good library, etc., etc. Otherwise, you're just going to have to go onto Google Scholar and see what you can find, just to make your case. So when we go through the assignment now, you'll see what I'm referring to, what I mean, and then we take it from there. Okay, so you have to also then use both textbooks in your answers for all your questions.
Okay.
All right. Okay, so no Wikipedia. And what I said to the students as well. So Tumi, please be aware of the fact. I mean, you seem like a very with it woman. You have 3 children. You have a good job. You obviously are, moving and shaking and going crazy, which is great. And so don't jeopardize your academic career. I have to say this to you, by, doing work that isn't your own, cutting and pasting, getting somebody to do the assignment for you, etc., etc., etc. Those things have a nasty habit of coming out in the wash. And, you probably are not somebody who would do that, but I just have to, let you know. I love to check sources. So whatever you do, you'll see in the message from last week, the first lecture, I love to check sources. If you've used a source, I'll probably go and check it to see if it's legit. Okay, so no Wikipedia. What you can do is, now when I was busy doing my master's, my supervisor said to me, Wikipedia is a fantastic source, but obviously you can't use it because it's not academic. What you can do, you can go to the list of sources that Wikipedia puts into the article, and you can go and look at those sources and see if you can find some information there. And then, but if I will go check your sources, so, and then I'll go check the Wikipedia article. So if I see that you've used a Wikipedia source, then I need to know that you actually got the information not from Wikipedia, but you got it from the source. And remember, plagiarism also includes not crediting the source and not paraphrasing. So, and remember, darling, at 4th year level, it's 0. Hey, if there's any plagiarism, you get 0. And remember, you only have 4 assignments to submit. So your 3 formatives and your 1 summative. So if you get 0 for 1 formative assessment, it could mean you're going to fail the year, which we definitely don't want you to do. So it's not worth it. Work really, work hard. I know you've got a hectic life. You really and truly do. Your 1-year-old must be very demanding. Your 12-year-old, your job, etc. But just my advice to you is do a little bit every day. Don't, because it's a lot. It's a huge assignment. Okay. All right. So then you may also use 5 other sources, which you're going to need to use, but whatever those may be. Okay. So YouTube, popular articles, as long as you are referencing it properly in accordance with the Harvard referencing method. Okay. So in other words, your assignment must have a minimum of 17 sources. So your 2 textbooks, 15 other sources, 10 of which must be academic. Okay, so and that includes that is over and above your textbook. Okay.
Okay.
Now, if you're wanting to get a distinction. I just have to share this with you as well. And, you may be wanting to get a distinction. Your assignment, so these are the requirements for a distinction. Your assignment must include double. You have to make use of at least 30 sources, excluding your textbooks. 20 of these sources must be academic, either journal articles or books. Okay, you have to use both textbooks in your answers for all your questions. Again, no Wikipedia, and you may use 10 other sources. So YouTube, popular articles. Your assignment will thus have a minimum of 32 sources. So if you submit a brilliant assignment that is amazing, and I'm absolutely gobsmacked, and I'm like, wow, this is incredible, but you have 31 sources, I will give you 70, because that's the most I can give you, because it's not a distinction. Okay, so please make sure that you check out these requirements and include those over there. But again, as well, to me, my job is to help you. I'm really and truly here to make sure that your life is as painless as we can make it without, look, there's still going to be effort involved. So I'm not out to fail you. I'm out to pass you. And I'm looking for reasons to give you, a great mark. I've lectured at Vega and UJ and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And, I've dealt with a lot of students, and it's always encouraging. It's such a pleasure and such a blessing when you're able to walk across that stage, and you've finished it and you're graduating. It is just such a blessing. So I really want you to have a vision for that, which includes just being excellent. And because the other thing is, my task is to prepare you more for industry. You're already prepared for industry, to prepare you for industry. So when you go into industry,
Hi, Rob. The line had went off, sorry.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, I'm back.
Okay, cool. Okay, so what I'm saying is my job is to prepare you for industry. Now you're already in industry, but the thing is, they must look at you and say, that woman has a qualification from Boston. That's a good qualification. And we have spoken to her, we've dealt with her, we've seen her. She knows what she's talking about. She's very with it. She's very clued up. And when you do assignments well, something clicks in your brain, something switches over, and you just become smarter. I've seen it so often in my own life. So never underestimate the power of doing an assignment well. When you do it badly at the last minute, you really and truly shoot yourself in the foot, because you don't get the full benefit from the assignment. I know it's difficult, but you got to chop off the time to get it done. Okay, so at NQF level 8, which is an honors level, this is what is required of you. So there needs to be source integration. In other words, A says this and B agrees with that, but C says this. Synthesis, which is putting all those sources together. So A and B and C say this, and this is what that means. This is the conclusion of that over there. Then we apply it. For example, we put it into an application, and we take an example. We then analyze it and say, this is what this means, and this is what the implications are of that. Okay, and then we need it to be linking with logical progression and flow. So as you come out of one paragraph or out of one sentence into a new sentence, there needs to be linking. So X person says this, similarly, Y person says this, however, Z person says this. And the one thing I was going to say to you, this is really, really important. Please don't submit your assignment unless you first read it yourself, because if you don't read it, you won't know if it's a good quality assignment. You have to go read it and go and edit it and see, does this make sense to me? Am I following a logical train of thought? And the best way to do that is to put it away and go have some dinner and go to bed, and then wake up tomorrow and look at it with fresh eyes. You can't do it when you're tired. Okay, so just be aware of that and keep that in mind. You need to have that linking, the logical progression, and the flow as you structure your assignment. Okay, there needs to be cohesion. So in other words, the whole thing needs to come really well together. And then as you do all of this, you need to give me conclusions, new thinking, suggestions, recommendations. Okay, does this all make sense?
It all makes sense, Rob.
Wonderful. Thank you, Tumi. I'm really pleased. Okay, so with that in mind, let's start and fire away with question A1, which is social responsibility. Okay, so we're not going to go through the whole, we're not going to read the online article, but this is just the introduction. Is the King's £250 million green giveaway a bid to boost the royals' popularity amid Harry's memoir storm? Experts say Charles's gift of the wind farm profits to help hard-pressed families draws a line under Rao and shows monarchy's bargain value. So what they're saying is that Charles is not giving these profits away because he really cares about people. He's doing it because he wants to try and save the British royal brand because it's doing badly because of Harry. So you need to go read the article and then
it's a popularity contest.
Yeah, pretty much. Yes, it's a popularity contest. Yes. Now I must be honest with you, hey Tumi, just between me and you, I don't know how much you know about the royal family. I think Charles's motives when it comes to green and organic and that kind of thing are genuine. I'm not saying though that he hasn't had an advisor who has said to him, listen, this can also be beneficial to your brand. So, I mean, nothing. All human beings have an altruistic arm where they want to do things because they care, and they have a narcissistic arm where they want to do things because they're selfish. We all are like that. We all have, things where, I mean, there's nothing you wouldn't do for your children, but the thing is, sometimes when I say, listen, daddy, you take care of the kids, I'm going to take, an afternoon off and I'm going to go pamper myself with the sauna, or, I'm going to go and get my nails done or whatever it is, so there are, and you need that downtime, there's nothing wrong with that. So Charles is just a human being, but obviously he's really battling to make inroads because, his mom she practically walked on water as far as some people were concerned, so yeah. Anyway, so you obviously go read the article, and this is the question. Okay, so question A1. With reference to the above screenshot, please read the following article. So there's the article, and then here comes the detail. The British royal family is arguably the strongest monarchy brand in the world. However, they are often mired in scandal or controversy, which affects their brand likability. From Prince Andrew's scandal with Jeffrey Epstein to the Queen, who in 1997 was accused of being more cut up about the decommissioning of the royal yacht Britannia than she was about the death of Princess Diana. Harry and Meghan's media onslaught, itself being criticized as an exercise in milking the royal brand for profit, is another case in point. With reference to the above article, write an essay where you critically analyze social responsibility and the extent to which it is a genuinely altruistic exercise brought about by an authentic sense of caring, or whether it is simply smart management of publicity and public relations for the purpose of brand building. Okay, so you'll see, yes, it's not longer than 2 pages. I just want to let you know, I am not fussed about length. Okay, so you will not be penalized, despite what the marking rubric says. You will not be penalized if your essay goes over 2 pages. I used to, I had a student who came to me, she was with IMM, the Institute of Marketing Management, and she was always freaking out because I said, you have to, do it in 5 pages or 2 pages or 1 page. And she was always freaking out. And I said to her, and we managed to, to help her with that, but I don't want to put my students, there's enough pressure trying to create a good assignment. I don't want you to have to be, so if it goes over 2 pages, it's not, you're not going to get penalized for it. Okay. Please use the social responsibility and publicity management covered in class, which we're going to go through tonight if we have time. Hopefully we will. Okay, to support your argument, include in your discussion the importance of authenticity in building and managing brands. Use examples, other news, and one other theory to substantiate your assertions. Okay, so there's some guidelines for you. You need to go up and read. You need to go and read up about brand authenticity and include this in your discussion. So, what makes a brand authentic? Okay, you need to try and find 2 opposing views of corporate social responsibility. One which shows that it is essential for the brand, and one which suggests that it is pure showboating. Okay, so please note I've written here, I'm not at all concerned about page limitations. If your essay needs to be longer than the pages allowed, you will not be penalized for that. And please note that applies to all of my assignments this year. Okay, so from assignment 1 to the end, that doesn't apply the page allocation. Okay. All right, so let's have a look then, let's have a look at a part of a good answer. Okay, now all these sources are rubbish. I just made them up just to give you an idea of what it should sound and look like. Okay. Voggenpoel et al. So this is 2022, 59 to 70. So you can see because it's got a page number, it's probably a book. State that corporate social responsibility, CSR, is the only way that a contemporary brand can cut through the noise and clutter of modern marketing because people have such limited attention spans.
Okay.
This is a view that's shared by Carter and Dixie. There is no reference to Page. That's probably an online article or maybe a journal article, who state that CSR is akin to publicity and public relations in that it suffers none of the credibility issues of advertising, as well as the opinion of Khumalo, who believes that the problem with advertising is that people do not trust it, while they do have a tendency to trust CSR, which is framed in a PR setting. By contrast, so you can see, I'm giving a statement, then I'm backing it up with two additional sources. So Pochenpoel et al. Is supported by Carter and Dixie, who adds information, who's supported by Khumalo. Okay, now I'm giving you the contrast. I'm saying, but hang on, this is what this person says. Ligwala believes that once a company or brand has shown itself to be insincere just once in a public setting, people tend to not believe any brand messages going forward. He thus differs from the authors above by suggesting that CSR is not a viable solution for creating awareness, i.e., cutting through the noise of crowded market spaces. Okay, so you're setting the scene, you're setting the tone, you're giving me multiple sources. You should never just have one source in a paragraph. It should be multiple sources that corroborate and agree with it or disagree with each other, so that you can get to your point. Okay.
Okay, so here it's like are you first agreeing with the statement, or first you're explaining the background of your answer, or?
Yes, you're stating the background of your answer, and in this case over here, you're agreeing. Now, remember, it depends on what information you find. Okay, before you can write down ideas, and you can have a basic skeletal framework, like a sort of a frame, sort of a wireframe of what you want to do, but you're not going to know what the content says until you go and find the sources. So you may, unless you specifically want to try and set an agenda, in which case you can try and find sources that agree with you. So you may, for instance, you as Tumi might say, listen, Charles is a has-been who never was. He is part of a system of privilege that is no longer relevant in the 21st century. The monarchy should be disbanded, and they should all lose their titles, and they should start paying taxes, and they should all find decent jobs. Now, that is perfectly fine if that's how you feel. All you need to do is go and back that up with sources that and they can't all be popular sources. So you can't say, well, the Daily Sun and the Daily Mail and the Daily Maverick and the Star all say that they hate Charles, because those are all popular sources. You need to go and find. Now, you're not going to find Charles in a textbook, but you're going to find the theory in a textbook. So you need to go and say, go find a textbook that says corporate social responsibility is a lie. It's a myth that doesn't exist. And then justify it and then say, in light of this, Charles's efforts are not altruistic, but that may not be realistic. So I personally think, based on what I know about him, which is not a lot, that he genuinely does care about the environment, and he was ahead of his time, because he started caring about these things back in the 70s already. He even did, and what I said to the other students as well in the classes, if you want to go and watch episodes of, you can go watch Harry and Meghan's Netflix documentary. You can go and watch episodes of The Crown. Okay, you can hoist a little bit of Crown if you want to and give a quote. And of course, it's not real, because we don't actually know what Charles said to his mother, or his mother said to Philip, or whatever it is. We don't know. But the thing is, it's based on a lot of research that was done. So there is some truth. For example, we know that Charles and Diana got divorced. We know that their divorce was acrimonious up to a point, although they became friends, and we know that they both cheated on each other. So that's fact. We know all of those things. Okay, the details of what happened, but so you need to put something together that's going to be based on what you find. Maybe you don't have an opinion. Maybe you're like, I don't know, Charles is being sincere. So what it is you have theory and application. Theory and application. Does that answer your question?
Okay, so theory and then application.
Yeah, theory, application. Theory,
so this is what's been said on theory, and this is my opinion.
Yes, but remember, your opinion must be based on what you can find in an article to support it. So, for example, you say Charles is the best thing since sliced bread. Try and find an article that
supports it.
Yes. Are you with me?
Got you.
Cool. Okay, so the second paragraph, in light of the above, it is apparent that the British royal family as a brand have a perception problem, as pointed out by Faraday in the Daily Mail, who states that we really don't believe Charles when he says he cares about the environment. What he cares is that his servants pick up his socks at night. Kekana 2023 concurs by stating that the death of the Queen has seen a decline in support for the royal family, which has not been helped by the negative sentiment created around the release of Prince Harry's book Spare and the furore around the release of Harry and Meghan's Netflix series. The consequence, you can see now this logical flow, they're moving along. The consequence of this negative publicity is that the royal family's attempts to be genuinely altruistic, assuming those are their true intentions, are not being viewed as being authentic, which does not augur well for effective branding. This is because authenticity is one of the core tenets of good brand architecture, as highlighted by Branson 1999, more than 20 years ago already. This argument is given credence by Peters, who notes that there are simply too many branding choices in the world to believe the ones which are not being true to themselves. Okay, so can you see it's theory and application, and you lead me, I need to start with your essay, okay, and I need to get to the end, and I need to see the point that you're trying to make. And you can argue it either way. There is no right or wrong. All I want to know is that you've critically discussed social responsibility and how that has affected the British royal family in terms of them being a brand.
Okay.
Are you with me?
Got you there.
Cool. Okay, great. Let's move on then to the next question, which is question A2. Okay, this is your media plan, your pestle analysis. So here's your article by Mandisa Nyati, fresh off the presses because it's like from just under 2 months ago. ANC needs to get its affairs in order, Cosatu's Losi says. You see at the bottom there, speaking at the ANC's 111th birthday celebrations in the Free State on Sunday, 8 January, Labour Federation Cosatu's leader Zingiswa Losi urged President Cyril Ramaphosa to uproot factionalism within the party and provide a solution to end ongoing rolling blackouts. Okay, so this is your question. Please read the following article in order to contextualize the background for this question. Okay, so you worked hard to complete your BBA degree, and you now run a boutique marketing agency that is chugging along. You almost fall off your chair when you receive a call from the ruling party, the African National Congress. You just hit the big league. The ANC is concerned about their market share attrition, which has seen them drop from an all-time high of almost 70% in the national elections in 2004 down to under 48% in the local elections in 2021. There is a real possibility that they will not receive an outright majority in the upcoming national elections, and they want to get a head start in convincing voters to head off to the polls next year to shore up support. Getting anything less than 50% is not only damaging for their brand, but also makes coalition government inevitable. Ruling by coalition is difficult and means that the country's biggest political legacy brand could have its efforts thwarted by parties to the left, the EFF, and parties to the right, the DA. Okay, the ANC is aware that younger voters, millennials and Gen Z, have far less brand loyalty in inverted commas and are products of a more globalized society. They also suspect that the emerged black middle class will not necessarily vote for them, and they know that the older generation, who are more brand loyal in inverted commas, will simply stay away from the polls in the absence of better choices. Okay, so this is your question. Your agency is tasked with the following. 1, convince people to get to the polls and vote for the ANC. 2, remind people that the ANC is the party of liberation and brought South Africa into the democratic era. 3, appeal to born frees that their liberties were hard won by their parents and grandparents, and that they should keep that in mind when voting. 4, appeal to the Model C crowd and the black emerged middle class that voting for the ruling party is still a patriotic duty. 5, try to make inroads into the DA's considerable majority in the Western Cape. 6, deal with the fragmented support in the country's economic heartland of Gauteng, where the ANC faces the real threat of a major loss of votes. 7, counter regional threats from the other parties in other provinces, the IFP in KwaZulu-Natal, the EFF in Limpopo, and smaller parties making inroads in urban areas, Action SA, Patriotic Alliance, and so forth. 8, make suggestions as to which other markets the ANC should be focusing on in terms of voters. And 9, create a new positioning statement for the political brand that can also be used as a catch-all slogan for the election campaign. Okay. Develop a media plan that will inform and educate the target markets about this political brand. Advise client on what you think those target markets should be. Okay, so this is now part of this over here for question 2.1. For each of these target markets, indicate what media platforms you will utilize and why, and also indicate how you will communicate the core message on these platforms for each of your target markets, i.e., what is your creative angle, idea, tie this back to your positioning statement as indicated above. How will you make sure that this message reaches your target market? Okay, so to me, you might turn around and say to me, okay, the ANC does not appeal to Generation Z. They don't appeal to digital natives. So a TikTok campaign is a waste of time. We're not going to be focusing on TikTok. If you want to win this election fair and square with a majority of more than 50%, you have to go speak to the older electorate, maybe your parents or your grandparents. They need to go vote. And if they go vote, then the ANC will win the election. What media do we need to use to target them so they will see a message from the ANC, hopefully a believable, credible message from the ANC, and they will then go and vote. Now, that's just a suggestion. You may say, Rob, that's completely wrong. They should target everybody. Okay, well, then you make that suggestion. I'm now coming to you as the ANC, and I'm saying to me, advise me on a media campaign, which includes a PESEL analysis. Okay, and then it says over there, under present your media plan in table form.
In table form.
I'm not too fussed if it's not in table form. It doesn't have to be in table form. It can be, in Word, whatever it is, as long as you can give me, I'm looking for the content. The presentation, it obviously needs to be neat, but I'm not looking for it in table form. I need to see, okay, what your thinking is behind why you're choosing these media and how you intend to deal with the issues around, the ANC's drop in market share. Does that make sense?
All right.
Questions?
I think I need to sit down and look at this properly. And
it's a hell of a question, darling. It really and truly is. But remember, it's fourth year, hey?
Yeah. No, it's
hectic. But,
yeah. What is your creative angle? So first of all, it has to be a creative angle or idea. Okay. But the positioning statement is indicated. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely. And then you need to. So basically, it's that tied into how you're going to deal with all the issues, tied into what media you're going to use to get the message across. Okay. So next, 2.2, complete a PESEL analysis, political, economic, social. Sorry, political. I've done these wrong. Gosh, sorry, I did them in the wrong order. Complete a PESEL analysis, political, social, economic, technological, legal, environmental. So it should be political, economic, social, PESEL. Okay, environmental for the ANC, focusing on the 2024 national elections. Your analysis should include the following hot button topics, but you may include others that you feel are relevant. Okay, so 1, Eskom and the issue with ongoing rolling blackouts. 2, taxpayer-funded bailouts of state-owned enterprises such as Eskom, SAA, Transnet, PRASA, and so forth. 3, state capture and corruption. 4, inflation, petrol price hikes, the skyrocketing cost of food, and the general cost of living crisis. 5, slow economic growth post-COVID. 6, South Africa's automatic alignment through BRICS with Russia and the perceptive impact that this has on both the ANC and South Africa brands in the context of the war in Ukraine. Substantiate your analysis using researched facts and sources. Okay,
21.
Okay, questions?
Okay, no further questions, Your Honor.
Are you with me?
Still with you.
Okay, cool. Right, so make your PESEL analysis as comprehensive as possible. You can use this video to help you further. Okay, so now these guys call it PESTEL, P-E-S-T-E-L. I prefer PESEL because it's like an English word, pestle and mortar. Okay, but basically what it is go and look at the 6 drivers that are affecting the environment in which the ANC functions. What is the political climate? What is the economic climate? What is the social climate? What is the technological climate? What is the legal climate? What is the environmental climate? Those 6 things, okay, what it is. So we did it last week in class with the other students. And like, for example, so if you have a look at it, well, let me show you the mock answer, and then you can see if you still have questions we can do some more after that. Okay, so create a realistic and comprehensive, Draw conclusions based on sources and make sorry, let me go back even further. Include multiple sources, integrate these, and create effective linking. Okay. Draw conclusions based on sources and make recommendations in your discussion. Create a realistic and comprehensive media plan for the ANC that addresses the complexity of the market and the challenges they as a brand face. Excuse me, and your plan needs to show how you intend to create integrated media management.
Okay.
Right. Okay, so that's your guidelines for question A2. So here's an example of part of a good answer. But now the difference between this answer and the previous answer is I've just given you snippets. So there are bits of pieces of information missing. They don't follow on well from each other. This is just to give you an overview of the whole thing. Whereas the previous answer for question A1 flowed better because it was linking between the paragraphs. Okay, but this is just as an example. So you've come up with an idea and you then say, thus the ANC's positioning for the 2024 elections has been decided on as a plea to citizens to help the country, creating an emotional bond between the ANC brand and South Africans' feelings of care and affection for the place brand that is South Africa, a loyal to the soil kind of narrative. To this end, the chosen slogan to accompany all marketing collateral is, "Your country needs you." This harks back to the messaging that John F. Kennedy strategically and cleverly used in the early 1960s, when he admonished Americans to ask not what your country can do for you, but rather what you can do for your country. Mendes, 2011-78. This also ties into the theory postulated by Kung that slogans should be short and punchy and should serve as a summary of the brand's positioning statement. Now, again, to me, all these sources are rubbish. I just made this stuff up just to show you what it's supposed to look like. But you can't go and quote these sources because, you know, yes, they're not real. They're just, okay, it's just to give you an idea. Okay, so now we're moving along to a different part of the assignment where you are speaking. So you just need to create better links here. Prominent out-of-home media where the slogan will be used will include street pole advertising, which is used extensively in election campaigns. In addition, while the slogan will appear in all media forms, it will also be expanded to inspire copy for the 2-page full-spread newspaper adverts to be taken out in all Sunday newspapers in the week leading up to the election. This is because Dews notes that traditional media still carry prestige with their use, and any brand that builds a campaign using large and thus expensive media is perceived as prestigious and prominent. This could help the ANC brand in the election. Contrasting this, however, is the assertion of Hazen and Darbo that receivers in the communications chain are generally skeptical of political messages, no matter which medium is used. Okay, so you're creating for me a reason, you explain why you positioned it in such a way, what your thinking is. And I mean, your country needs you is probably a really lousy slogan, but I don't want to steal all the good ones. I'm leaving that up to you. You know, you could come up with something better, you know, and say, you know, whatever. I mean, I know, I think their slogan about 10 years ago was a better life for all. So they were trying to be inclusive, you know, for this is not just a party of, you know, black people, it's also for white people and for colored and for Indian people, you know. So that was the thing. And I was saying to the students earlier on, I mean, I think the 2016 campaign, they were everywhere. I'm not saying that it worked because, you know, obviously they did very badly in the elections in comparison to what they'd done before, but they were everywhere. They were on billboards, they were on, you know, on street pole ads, they were on TV, they were on radio, they were everywhere. Okay, so you can see they were very prominent.
They were on calling, they called people to say, hey, are you coming to vote?
Are you serious?
Yes.
Wow, okay, they even called people. Oh, okay. Well, there we go. Okay, yeah. So you see, I mean, they obviously pull out all the stops and try, and probably lots of people said, oh, yeah, we're going to be there, but actually they weren't, you know, so I think, yeah. It's very, I don't envy Cyril Ramaphosa and his people. It's going to be very difficult. We're going to see what's going to happen, you know, so, yeah, it's interesting. It's look, no government is perfect, you know, and whatever your feelings are, maybe you're a huge ANC supporter, maybe you feel the ANC's done, and they have not. I said to the students earlier on today, I said, whatever your feelings are, there are two things that I can mention just off the top of my head, which they could take credit for, and you know, it could be a very strong buy-in from some of the members of the thingy. South Africa is one of the very, very, very few countries in the world where it's legal to smoke weed. You know, so you can have your weed, you can smoke it on the street, you can't sell it, you can't deal it, but you can smoke it and you can have it in your possession. Okay, it's very forward thinking. There are very few, the United States doesn't have those liberties, most of Europe doesn't have those liberties. Australia, New Zealand, nowhere else in Africa, nowhere in Asia. And of course, the other thing is also, South Africa was the first country in the world, fifth country in the world, first and only country in Africa that allows same-sex marriage. So that is a liberty but remember, that's a very small target market that you're appealing to that might actually annoy some people. Maybe if you are conservative Christian, you might say, well, that's a bad thing. I wouldn't vote for the ANC for that reason. That's entirely up to you. You need to, so you can see, and the thing is, you might say, but Rob, why? Because I'm a media manager. I'm not a creative. All media management involves some level of creativity. It's not just the ad agency that came up with a brilliant idea. The ad agency, if they're good, will get advice from the media managing companies and the media management, and they will come up with ideas and work together to create a comprehensive campaign. Are you with me? Tumi, are you there? Oh, are you still there? Tumi, are you there? Tumi, are you there? I think I've lost you. It's my connection that's so slow, I think. Let's see. Can you hear me now? With an echo. Oh, glory. Darling, you must, I think, turn off one of your devices. I think turn off one of your devices. Um,
Hello. Hello. Can you hear me? Hello. Hi, Rob.
Can you hear me?
Much better.
Can you hear me? Okay, there we go. Okay, cool. All right, so we're back. Okay, so now you're connected with using your phone as a Wi-Fi hotspot, but you're running it through your laptop.
Yeah, I'm running it through my laptop, but I've been using my laptop. I don't understand what was the problem. Because I think I'd opened the page using two separate. So I'd initially used Teams from work, and then I went and opened another page on Chrome.
Okay. Okay.
Mm.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, it's you know, it's cool as long as you know the transfer of knowledge is there, the transfer of information is there, so you know what you need for your assignment. Look, I mean, it's great that you can come to the classes. It's important for you to come to the classes, you know, but the most important thing, because that's where you're going to get your marks from, is the assignment. So this is a really important class. I'm glad that you're here. You know, so that's great. I hope that your colleague from last week is okay. I'm not sure why she's not here. I had some connection problems at 6 myself because we had just come out of load shedding. So I did say to her, you know, please just try and log back in, because I will, you know, come back on, you know, perennially. So if you don't see me in the class, it's not because I'm not there. It's just because you know, I'm also battling to log in, or there's some issue, whatever it is. Can you still see the screen and you can hear me? Hey.
I can hear you perfectly. Is there a WhatsApp group, or is only communication via Call Campus?
So I mean, it's only communication via Call Campus. I can start a WhatsApp group. I just don't have everybody's number yet. So I could get a, you know, I could ask people for their details, and then start a WhatsApp group. It's not a bad idea. Let me speak to the academic manager, Chris, and ask him if it's fine. I'm sure it probably is, but let me just get his okay.
It would be nice.
So
I'm not sure if it can be a combination of part-time and full-time, or
well, if you don't mind being connected to the full-time students, then it's fine. But obviously, you know, they're not. You're older, and you have more experience.
I'm struggling to hear now. It would
Can you hear me now?
Be very nice.
Can you hear me? Tumi, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yes, I can hear now.
Okay, all right. Okay. Can you still hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, cool. So, well, look, I'm going to leave it up to you. Do you want to be with the daytime students, or do you want to be in an evening group on your own?
Honestly, it would be better if, I think the more the merrier.
Cool.
Because now, if there's only two of us, are there other students who have already, how do I put it? Is it just the two of us, or do you have a number of how many students are expected to be in the part-time? Because then if there's just the two of us, it would make sense to join the full-time WhatsApp group.
Yes, absolutely. That's a good point. It continually changes. What they said is people may be joining because, you know, as they decide to, you know, they've got the money to afford the registrations, whatever it is, it's constantly joining. So I actually don't know at this point in time. You know, they have not been able to give me an indication of who it is, but I'll ask Chris, and then I will come back to you and let you know if there is a WhatsApp group. Just whilst I have you on the line, please give me your number so that I can put you on the WhatsApp group if we do form one. So can you please give it to me? Tumi, can you hear me? Tumi, can you hear me?
Hi, Rob.
Hey, Tumi, can you hear me?
Okay, yes.
Okay,
Okay,
so it's
perfect.
coming and going and coming and going. Okay, well, Diane, we're just going to have to proceed slowly. So if I hear you dropping off, then I'll just wait until you come back on. And you say, hi, Rob. So if you drop off, then, then it's cool. Okay, so I'm going to continue because obviously the assignment is important. Thank you for your number. Can you still hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, cool. Thank you for your number. I'll check with Chris, and if he says it's okay to form a WhatsApp group, then I will definitely. I think it's a great idea. I don't know what Boston protocols are, though. I don't know how they feel about it, but let me check. I think it's a great idea. I know they do it at UNISA, so I don't think it'll be an issue. But let me, yeah, cool. All right. Okay. So then, all right. So we're carrying on now with the third paragraph of here. Remember, these paragraphs don't link, so this is just to give you an idea of kind of what I'm looking for. Okay, so the third paragraph, can you still hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, cool. In terms of political drivers that are affecting the macro environment in which the ANC functions, the interview of Andre de Ruyter by Annika Larsen, ETV 2023, in which he alleges that the ruling party has used Eskom to steal money, has damaged the ANC's reputation, such that party members have threatened legal action against him. This could see the electorate decide to punish the ANC by either not voting or voting for a different party. Could see their market share fail to recover above the 50% outright majority rule threshold, which would force them into a coalition government. Zingiswa Losi's warning to the ruling party to get its affairs in order, Nyati 2023, is a clear indicator that negative brand rhetoric around the ANC could scupper its chances for electoral victory. So I've said to students, please note how I referenced the given assignment article, which is a smart way to add an extra source and also show that you're integrating your sources. So you can use the article by Nyati, okay, in your assignment. You should actually. It's better because then I can see how you're creating links between all your sources. Can you still hear me? Tumi, can you hear me?
Sorry, I didn't realize I was on mute. I can hear you.
Okay, cool. All right. Okay, cool. Great. Okay, cool. All right, so you can hear me. Okay, fantastic. All right. Okay, so do you have any questions so far? Do you get the general idea of what you need to do?
Yeah, it seems like a lot of reading that needs to be done here, hey?
Darling, it is. Hey, it really, really is. You just gotta. It's a lot of work. And look, I'm not expecting you guys to get it 100% right by first assignment. By the time you get to the third assignment and your summative assessment, I think we'll all be on the same page. So it's a growth process. It's not overnight. I'm not looking to make anybody's life difficult. If I can see that you've made the effort, I'm all about helping students. So also remember, if you want to, up until about the 15th of April, which obviously also includes Easter, which is a bit of a problem, okay? If you want to, you can start your assignment, send me your draft. I look at it for you and I'll advise you and say, listen to me, you're on the right track, this is fantastic, or you need to go do this, you need to go work on this, you need to go improve this, you need to go do that. Okay, if that'll help you. So you're welcome to communicate with me in that respect.
Okay.
Excuse me. Okay, cool. All right, so I've done 2 pages on the ANC. Okay, so this is more of the example of a good answer, part of a good answer. This has already been an issue once before, which was reported by Mkhize, who explains that the electorate voted not to vote in the municipal elections because they were frustrated by the economic downturn brought about ostensibly by state capture and the relationship of Jacob Zuma with the Gupta family, who were perceived as being involved in corruption, which was causing people economic hardship. Van Heerden confirms that Zuma's resignation was inevitable because the drop in ANC party support was exacerbated by his leadership of the party and the country. Okay, so that's all just made up stuff. You may take a completely different stance and say that, load shedding has nothing to do with the governing party. It's not their faults. It's got to do with, evil, dark third forces and therefore, but you need to be able to substantiate it, because I can tell you a lot of the electorate is going to say, listen, I'm not voting for the ANC because, we have got load shedding. It's that simple. Okay, so whether or not that's fair, a fair assessment. And being in politics and being in leadership positions is very difficult. It's challenging. It's tough. Can you still hear me?
I think if I start having network issues, I will just type it down to say, okay, I can't hear you.
Okay. All right. Okay, cool. No problem. I'll keep an eye out on the thingy, then I know. Okay. All right. So then moving along, in terms of technological drivers, the ANC would need to focus on the rapidly changing digital environment, which has seen a shift in application usage. For example, Sweeney notes that Facebook has been losing market share in Africa, while Instagram, also part of Meta, has been gaining users. Likewise, this dynamic shift has been corroborated by Madonsela, who points out that there has been a swing away from Facebook and YouTube towards TikTok, the first non-Western social medium that has enjoyed enormous popularity. This ties in with the writings of Bettencourt, who states that Gen Z, or Gen Z, the post-millennial demographic grouping, are the so-called digital natives who grew up with technology at their fingertips, and that any attempt to influence their adoption, acceptance, and use of a brand must therefore include a savvy digital strategy using digital media such as TikTok. For this reason, if the ANC deems that it is important to try and attract this young and potentially influential market, then it will need to woo them with an effective TikTok campaign. Paisley, however, notes that this grouping is far more concerned about the environment than politics, citing the environmental activism of someone like Greta Thunberg as an example. Thus, if the ANC wish to woo such voters, it will need to have a strong green element to their campaign. The danger here with the discourse around going green by the ANC, which it could easily do with a semantic connection to one of its corporate colors, green, is the extent to which it would be believable and credible, which is a key factor in creating brand authenticity. So this is part from Kristen LaBelle. Okay, so you can see over here, you've got application, which is substantiated with theory. Theory, application, bring it all together. You have synthesis, you have analysis, you have so it needs to. So again, I encourage you, read your assignment, your final assignment before you submit it, because if it doesn't make sense to you, it's not going to make any sense to me. Okay, and then obviously when you get feedback on your first assignment, use that not as criticism to break you down, use it as constructive criticism to help you with assignments 2, 3, and 4. Okay. So questions?
So far, we're on the same page.
Cool. Okay. All right. So now we've been working since what time? About 6:45. Okay. So I need to ask you, do you want to take a little break that you can stretch your legs, or are you happy just to continue working through?
Oh, how long is the class supposed to be?
Until 10, but I'm going to stop at 9:45 just to give you some time to kiss your children and have a hot chocolate before you go to bed, because it's a very long lecture.
Oh my word. Yeah, okay, because bedtime is at 8:30, but okay.
Bedtime.
Let me have a little break.
Do you wanna stop in 10 minutes and then take them to bed and say good night, and then come back at about 20 to 9, and then we'll do an hour. We'll do from 9:45 till 10:45, and then we'll stop.
Okay.
How does that sound for you?
Perfect.
Okay, cool. So we'll stop at 8:30, and then you can ship them all off to bed and give them a big kiss and wish them sweet dreams and all those nice things, and then we'll take it from there. Okay. Cool. Great. Okay, so Tumi, I hope this all helps. Okay, so this is now question B. This is the next one. Mackey's Mechanics is a family-run business. Old Man Mackey, this is the question. Old Man Mackey is a traditionalist who only believes in old school media like newspapers, TV, and radio. Although their budget is quite small, Mackey still does a bit of local newspaper advertising every second week, and once a year they splurge on a small radio campaign on a local station with a small footprint in terms of reach and frequency. The company has never tracked the efficacy of their campaigns, and the content is steered by the newspaper and the radio station, which puts their ads together for them as a courtesy to clients. The one thing that Mackey does very well is maintain a good relationship with his existing customers. He started fixing cars in 1980 when he was 20, and has built up a solid reputation over 40 years, and has a little black book with the names and phone numbers of his customers. Old Man Mackey has no time for new media. He thinks Facebook and the like is a huge waste of time, doesn't have WhatsApp on his phone, doesn't know anything about email, and thinks TikTok is what an old watch does. By contrast, his 30-year-old son, Brett, is a whiz with social media. He and his wife Jennifer see the possibilities of bringing Mackey's into the digital age in a big way. You and Brett are old school friends, and he has decided to use some of the company's money to pay you a retainer to convince the old man to switch to new media and dump the radio and newspaper. However, you know that the best solution is an integrated one that uses both old and new media, and it's just a question of getting the mix right. Okay, so write a proposal to Mackey's in the form of an essay, not longer than 3 pages. I don't think you'll get more than 3 pages, but if it goes over 3 pages, again, as I said, you won't be penalized for that. Where you convince both the older generation and the younger one to keep the traditional marketing and also pursue new media marketing. Impress upon the Mackeys the lost opportunity of not using their Black Book database to keep in touch with existing clients who are repeat users of the Mackeys brand. Okay, so hint, ensure that you draw comparisons between the two traditional media and new media marketing. The overlap between the two, strengths and weaknesses, how they complement each other, and the value and benefit of employing an integrated strategy. All right, that's for 25 marks. Okay, so guidelines for question B. This question is like a critical pro or con essay about the benefits or drawbacks of old and new media. It's a great question to get you thinking about your subject, which is integrating media for the most effective way to get the message across. There's lots to the theory that can be applied to this example. And the page limits are not really important. If you go over 3 pages, you will not be penalized. Okay, so let's have a look then at an example of a part of a good answer. So just a part example. Excuse me. Leclerc and Donahue state that the line between traditional old media and newer digital media is becoming blurred in the same way that above and below the line has given way to through the line or lineless marketing. Similarly, both Kung and Hughes state that there is no single solution for a comprehensive marketing campaign in modern times, and that the need to integrate is no longer optional. Moving on from this, Kwaki stipulates that social media and digital media in general are much weaker brand builders than a robust traditional campaign, but that the best way to achieve results is combining media to find the right mixture for the brand. Similarly, Bunker says that every campaign must create maximum bang for buck by being accountable, while Resnick notes that brands which are the most successful are the ones that have an ongoing marketing campaign that's tied back to a long-term strategy. Okay, in light of this, it would be suggested to Mackeys that they combo their campaigns for maximum efficiency and efficacy. In addition, Hyatt, Baker, and Sivers all note the powerful tool that is email marketing, with all 3 authors putting forth that an email database is one of the most powerful weapons or useful weapons in the arsenal of a small business. Now you can see over here, I've given you 3 sources together. Okay, so get lots of sources to say the same thing, but you should often have more. You can see in the paragraph above, I've used Leclerc and Donahue, Kung, Hughes, which are 2 textbooks, Kwaki, Bunker, and Resnick. I've used 5 sources: Leclerc and Donahue, Kung, Hughes, Kwaki, Bunker, and Resnick. 6 sources in 1 paragraph. So you can see there's a lot of information there that's tying it well together. Okay. All right. So moving along. Excuse me. For this reason, therefore, so before even suggesting an integrated media campaign to both Old Man Mackey and his son and daughter-in-law, Brett and Jennifer, it would be prudent to sit them down and impress upon them the goldmine of information that they possess in terms of the old man's black book. How many of these people would be interested in attending a get-together where Mackey says, "Thank you for 40 years of support"? Could this opportunity be used to get cell phone numbers and email addresses to receive a monthly newsletter update? Would there be a need to communicate with this database monthly? Would there be something to say monthly? Would it be POPI compliant? Next, perhaps a meeting could be arranged with Brett and Jennifer, who are the future of Mackey's. Assuming that Brett is a mechanic and intends to continue running the company, this begs the question, would Mackey's be ready for a successful marketing campaign if an integrated media plan works and there is a new client base that wants to use the brand? Can more staff be hired? Okay, so this is just really, now this is a completely made up example. Okay, so I just want to see how you're thinking around media, because you may come across, I mean, anybody could come to you. And what we have over here, as you see, we have 3 contrasting examples. We have the British royal family, which is a very prominent, well-known international brand. We have the ANC, which is a very prominent, well-known international and very local, well-known brand, okay, which has got lots of problems. And then we have Mackie's, which is SME. So you, in your capacity as a media manager or as something in the marketing field, should have the ability to be able to help an SME or a global brand like King Charles, or a global brand, a mega brand like the ANC, a legacy brand like the ANC. You need to be able to apply across all of the things. Okay, so as it turns out, that is the end of the assignment. So we're going to take a break. Our next scrapping installment will be looking at branding. So, darling, let's take a break until, is 20 minutes enough for you to or just under 20 minutes? Will that be enough for you to say goodnight to your little ones? And then can we come back and then continue at about 8:45? Is that good for you? Tumi, can you hear me? Tumi, can you hear me? Okay, I hope you can still hear me. I'm assuming that you are tucking the kids in. So let's stop here. We'll come back together again then at about 8:45 as we suggested. And I hope that you will join me then. Okay, cool. So I'm gonna stop the sharing, save this recording so you can access it again if you need to, and then we'll come back and start again with the next section in just over 15 minutes. Cool. Thanks. I'll speak to you now.